Well, hey everybody, welcome to this week's edition of our, what do you call this? Our little
We
chat.
call it the Herald.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
Hi everybody, welcome to this week's edition of the Herald. I'm Dave.
And I'm Lisa.
And we, this whole video is we're excited because it's all resources. It's all stuff for you to help you. And we're going to start with, of course, regathering, which we're so excited about. Obviously, I'm excited. You're excited. Everyone's excited. We're going to be regathering. So I guess the first thing is go to the website and pre-register. But Lisa, you want to talk about what we're going to be doing specially for life group leaders and shepherds?
Yes, hopefully you guys saw this in our last Herald that we put out. But below, you can sign up ASAP for our praise and worship regathering for life group leaders and shepherds. It's our launching and an opportunity to hear from Steve, an opportunity to worship together, to share some stories of this last year, and then to, as leaders of our church, pray for Westgate as we head out into the unknown of what Westgate's going to be like moving forward. So that date is Sunday, February 28th. We're going to meet out under the tent at 4 p.m. You're invited. If you want to come as a family, you can. We don't have any kind of childcare, but if you need to bring your kiddos, feel free to bring them along with you. But we're going to gather for those of you that feel comfortable. Sure. Obviously masked up, distanced, all that, but with an opportunity to worship together and to just review God's goodness this last year and pray for as we move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super stoked about that. Just it's been a year since we've all been together. So exciting there. The second thing we want to draw your attention to is we're in the middle of a sermon series called The Future of Everything about First Thessalonians. And obviously, one of the things that Paul's doing in the book of First Thessalonians is encouraging folks. And we as a staff just realized out of the season, there's probably a lot of encouragement needed. So we put together 6 one-week labs, cohorts, to just help people deal with some issues that we see are coming up in our internal surveys and our conversations with people. And these are called—
And I would say, we know that you see it within your group too. Yeah. So the reason we're bringing this to you is so that as you think about different individuals, some of these may specifically resonate with them.
So if you or somebody in your group is dealing with one of these issues, these are great resources, and they start pretty soon. They start, I think, next week. And they're dealing with isolation and loneliness, chronic pain, financial or career instability or uncertainty, loss and grief, just in general, the chaos of the world, and then family conflict and pain. There's pastors and professionals in each of those cohorts. They won't solve every problem, but they're a way to get the ball rolling in conversation. So you can go find out about those on our website as well. We'll have links below in this email as well.
Yeah. And then Dave, what's coming up this Wednesday?
Well, actually it started yesterday. It was Lent. Lent started. So it snuck up on us.
Ash Wednesday. That's what
Ash Wednesday. Yeah. So Ash Wednesday traditionally is a time when Christians spend about 40 days just preparing, the 40 days before Easter, preparing for the death and resurrection of Christ. And so we have Lent devotionals and Lent resources for you. We got Lent podcasts, Lent devotionals, including a really awesome Lent devotional that we are providing on our website for free. It's by Christianity Today. It's a collection of diverse, wonderful authors giving weekly devotionals. So it's not a whole big time commitment, but man, these essays are powerful. They come with discussion questions or journaling questions, and you can download those by going to our website. We have that link below as well.
Awesome.
That's really cool. It really is a whole bunch of resources, Lisa. We also, speaking as we regather, we're going to be regathering all sorts of time. We're really excited about that. One of the things we also wanted to do, that 2020 was kind of a very strange and contentious year. And so we have put together the staff and also the elders have put together a position paper on faith and politics. And myself and Liz Diddy and Jay Kim recorded a real long convo, a big questions about that, talking about faith and politics. And that could also be a resource for you. We hope that it'll be helpful. And so you can see the links to that below. And we hope that that will be helpful and encouraging in a time where conversations about faith and politics have been anything but. So that's our hope there as we regather as a church.
I think that would be a great podcast to listen to on a hike.
Ooh,
You can
yeah,
get your like aggression out with it too,
sure.
like as you work through the
I'm a big fan of
messiness
hiking with
of all that.
podcasts.
Yes.
I'm a huge fan. So you can download that. And also, finally, just as we regather and everything, Lisa, you had a word that you wanted to say as well.
I do. You know, this time of the year in our seasons of life groups, it's easy to kind of just settle in and let things just kind of be. And we know as we're going to regather, and some of you will be in person, some of you will be staying on Zoom, some of you will be a hybrid. There's going to be an edginess, a little bit of rubbing maybe within your groups, let alone just the fact that as groups have been together for a while, sometimes we just can be complacent about things. So I want to remind you guys as leaders of a wonderful resource that you all got when you first started leading. It's called Making Small Groups Work by Henry Cloud, John Townsend. This book has a whole chapter dealing with problems in groups. And it talks about people that are passive in your groups, people that talk all the time, narcissism, people that spiritualize everything. I want you to take some time and think about your group and the health of your group. And the reason I want you to do this is because I had it just happen to me. I had a gal in my group who's wonderful. She's super godly. She's got wonderful things to say. But like me, she's a verbal processor. And I found that I noticed week after week that after every person shared, she needed to kind of summarize what they said so that she could encourage them. Or anytime there was silence, she jumped in to start the conversation. And I get that. It's hard for me to be quiet sometimes, but I had to remind her that if we don't create space for people, that some of our people in our group who may tend to be really think through things before they say them, or just have a harder time jumping in, they won't. And so for the 2 weeks I saw this happen, and I'm like, I need to talk to her. I need to talk to her. Finally, I just texted her after our last Zoom meeting and said, hey, do you have a minute to hop back on Zoom? I just want to run something by you. I was scared to death to talk to her about it because I don't like confrontation, but God gave me the ability in a gracious way to just say, hey, can you help me with this? We want to create space in our group for those that have a harder time jumping in. I kind of operate the same way. Let's see what happens if we just leave space and not jump in. She thanked me profusely. She said, you know, if I do this in our group, I wonder if I do it in other parts of my life as well. And so what I was scared to do turned out to be a beautiful thing and drew us actually closer together as just friends and being honest with each other. And so sometimes those conversations are hard, but just know they're going to come in different forms as we move forward into this kind of bumpy road of moving out of our pandemic and what life will look like. So just want to remind you of the book.
So Lisa,
again,
it sounded to me like you, as you were having those small group meetings, it sounded to me like you knew that this was something you probably needed to address
for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And
so we're just going to encourage you, don't avoid it. Steve talks about this a lot. Lean into the weirdness. If there's a funkiness, like just lean into it. Just get it out there. See, man, I feel funky, or something's weird, or I value us too much to not talk about this. And that's happened so often. And again, people have talking about over talking. That's something that I need to do. So it can be that.
By the way, after this meeting, can we have a conversation?
That hurts, Lisa. Thank you. Anyway, we're so excited to finally be regathering as a church. We're so excited to see you. If you have questions about these resources, reach out to us. And we look forward to actually being together. We're so excited.
And we do know, just as a little caveat, there are some of you that aren't quite ready to regather.
Oh, totally.
No judgment. That's totally fine. We won't, unfortunately, be recording because we're going to be outside for our prayer and worship gathering. But just if it's 4 o'clock at your house and you're not able to be there, maybe just stop for a minute and just pray a prayer of thanksgiving for how God's been with you this last year, but also just pray for Westgate staff, the leadership, the elders, as we move forward, that we wouldn't run ahead and we wouldn't be behind, but that
Yep.
we would really be listening intensely and being obedient what God asks us to do. So
Totally.
yeah.
My
Well,
excitement was more that it does feel like things are starting to move into that
Yeah.
direction with the vaccinations and all those kinds of things. So we are excited about just moving toward that direction is the first step toward that. And we certainly understand there's some of you that just can't do that for a variety of reasons. And that is, we just cannot wait till we can all be together. So, and I know that that's your your desire as well.
Whew,
All right. Well, thank
goodbye.
you guys. We'll talk to you
All
soon.
right. Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Take
Bye.
care.